So I've been making videos for almost 9 years across both my channels. And during all of that time, throughout the history of this site in general, there have always been two faces, two names that just keep popping up. And as my content continued to change and evolve, I've miraculously never ended up making content surrounded either of these two individuals. Quite frankly, I feel like if I had done this a while ago, the channel would be at a much better place probably, but I definitely wouldn't be as happy. And I can probably assume that just by looking at the title and thumbnail of this video, you guys know exactly who I'm going to be talking about today. That being the one and only Jake Paul. This man and his brother Logan have been on YouTube for about 10 years now. The thing is, you can't really say anything nice about either of them. You can kind of find a couple redeeming qualities for Logan, but at this point in the game, there's nothing you can defend for Jake. Which is why throughout all of the different controversies, it's kind of a miracle that these two boys are still relevant on YouTube today. Because if literally any other creator of this shape or size tried to do even half of the controversies that these boys have done, their careers and their channels would be dead. But because they have massive followings and because it has a large audience of mostly children, it brings in YouTube a lot of money, so they don't want to do anything about it. And it's kind of funny because all of this comes from a former Disney Channel star, Jake Paul. And that's going to be the subject of today's video because that Disney show is about 9 years old. The show was called Bizaardvark, and it was basically Disney Channel's 9-year late response to Nickelodeon's massive success with iCarly. This show was the Disney Channel debut for a young Olivia Rodrigo, even predating her premiere in the High School Musical series. But everyone seemed to have forgotten that this is where Olivia Rodrigo came from, seeming to just point at High School Musical, the series, because this was the show that Jake Paul was on for 2 seasons.
Heyo, I'm Jake Paul from Bizaardvark, and you're watching Disney Channel. Oh, no looker, first ever. Oh, nailed it!
The show follows 2 teenage girls named Paige and Frankie, who aspire to become influencers through their online comedy videos. The 2 are outcasts at their middle school, only really befriending each other and this random 12-year-old who wants to be their agent. However, everything changes when they're invited to Voogle HQ, where a bunch of content creators from that site can meet, hang out, and have some necessities to create some more videos. Basically, it's like YouTube space, but even wackier. Because when the kids enter the Voogle space, people are just making their videos in the lobby instead of in an isolated room or a soundstage. There's just a guy wearing a fucking horse mask for like the entire episode. The cameras aren't on. He's just wearing that damn mask. And one of these influencers that the 2 meet is in fact Jake Paul, who runs a prank challenge type channel. So he's basically a one-man dude perfect. And somehow the fake videos that this character has to do that are intentionally kind of cringe are somehow less cringy than Jake Paul's actual videos. So in order to prove that the girls belong in this space, they, for whatever reason, have to create a video from scratch. Which, why do they need to do that when this is for online content? Can't they just look at their channel? However, they're not able to come up with a video in time, so they just don't send one in, and they just quit making videos. Their channel, Bizaardvark, is no more until they see how much people love their videos through various different fan mail. See, kids, it doesn't matter if you enjoy making those videos. All that matters is that people are watching and giving you money. Money is the only thing that's important here, so do it for the money and nothing else. So they submit their video, which is a music video about failing to come up with a comeback until moments after the incident passed, which admittedly is not a bad idea, and if this was a real YouTube video, I can see it doing pretty well in 2012. Yeah, that's like my biggest pet peeve with this show, at least judging off the first episode. Its understanding of YouTube culture is like 5 years behind the times. By the time this aired in 2016, comedy sketches and music videos weren't really the big thing on YouTube like they were back in the day. At this point in time, YouTube was primarily daily vlog channels like Jake Paul. It was consisting of a bunch of fun challenge videos that were being made by all the different minors that were suddenly migrating to the site. The only people in 2016 that were still making consistent, well-liked sketch comedy were the ones that were already doing it for over a decade, like Smosh and Ryan Higa. And even then, Ryan Higa doesn't even make videos anymore, and Smosh was still kind of struggling creatively. Point is, everyone loves the video, they make friends with Jake Paul. Happy ending. I guess I should probably mention the theme song.
Let's go make some videos. Hey, hey, let's go make some videos. Hey.
I'm going to take this and shove it right up the asshole of whoever decided to write that fucking song. If I was to describe Bizaardvark just off the first episode, it would be, how do you do, fellow kids, the show? Because this whole thing comes across as an executive seeing how popular Smosh was in 2012 and was like, that's online content, that is YouTube, I'm gonna run with it and just keep trying to make this a reality for Disney Channel. By the time the show finally came on the air, nothing about the show was still relevant. So how this lasted 3 seasons, I have no idea. Maybe in the future, the show is actually able to understand modern YouTube, because this goes all the way up to 2019. Maybe by then, it's like 3 years behind. But as it stands, the show is really only best remembered for having a really cringe supporting actor and giving us memorable moments like this little bumper. So I guess the real question is, why? Why did I spend all of this time talking about the Jake Paul Disney Channel show? Well, it's important to understand where we all come from. It's important to understand that this show's fucking stupid, and that all of this controversy and all of this pure stupidity that him and his brother constantly get up to can be traced back to Disney Channel. When Jake fought Mike Tyson, suddenly everybody was interested in talking about the Paul brothers again. Logan showed up a little bit, and he was getting into a little bit of controversy as well, with mold being in Lunchley. And so if you guys take anything away from this video, don't watch Bizaardvark. Don't watch or support really anything that could possibly send money back to Logan and Jake Paul. Like, there's a reason that I haven't tried Prime or Lunchley even for the memes. It's not worth it to give money to horrible, horrible people. All they do is just consistently scam people out of money. Scam children out of money. Do horrible things just for the sake of like a cheap, low effort video. For fuck's sakes, just a few months ago, Jake Paul was beating up an old man. and we all watched it. So yeah, this is probably going to be my only video on the Paul brothers. So yeah, that'll be it for this video. If you guys want to see me talk about more Disney Channel shows, please let me know down in the comments below. I won't probably talk about YouTube drama in this little commentary series, but whatever. And of course, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified when future videos are uploaded. But until then, I will see you later. Bye.